As you set out for Ithaca, hope your road is a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery. Lay Strigonines, Cyclops, angry Poseidon. Don't be afraid of them. You'll never find things like that on your way as long as you keep your thoughts raised high. As long as a rare excitement stirs your spirit and body. Lay Strigonines, Cyclops, angry Poseidon. You won't encounter them unless you bring them along inside your soul. Unless your soul sets them up in front of you.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
How you doing? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you, and then I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you, and then I'm gonna tell you what I told you. I'm gonna start off telling you a little bit about myself, and as I'm telling you this, none of it is meant to be pompous, and none of it is meant to make you guys think that I'm special, because I'm not. I would like to start off by thanking Mr. Clements for bringing me back in the fold and not calling the police when he found out I was the one that stole that poem. I would like to thank the Reverend for all his logistics help in setting this up and being here, and I would like to thank Headmaster Quinn for his generous hospitality. Okay, so here we go. I was here in late 1970s on February 13th of 1980. We were getting ready to go to Eastern. We had a very strong team. I was the captain of the team. I was an honor student. I was receiving offers from a couple of Ivy League schools and a couple of big state schools. And it was a very exciting time for me. On February 14th, I was dismissed from the school for selling drugs. Through the hard work of my parents and Mr. Potter, whom I admire to this day, I was allowed to go to, they got me into college. I transferred to Syracuse University, completed my college career as aforementioned as the captain of the rugby team, as the captain of the swim team, and as an English major. I wasn't much of a student. And back then English majors didn't fare too well in the marketplace. So my big patriotic move, which was not patriotic at all, was to join the Navy because I needed a job. I went to deep sea diving officer school. I went to surface warfare officer school. I went out and I drove ships around the South Pacific for a couple of years. I won a very prestigious award out there. The guy who drives the ship is called the conning officer. I won the conning officer of the Pacific Fleet Award. It was pretty exciting. Went into explosive ordnance disposal, bomb squad stuff. The people asked, why you would want to defuse bombs, and the standard answer is immediate job satisfaction. Because if you're walking away, that means you succeeded and you're a pretty happy guy at Cal. I went to, after that, I got an opportunity to go to basic underwater demolition school. That's the SEAL screening school. 5 weeks into training, just 3 days before going into Hell Week, I came down with double pneumonia. I was not allowed to go into Hell Week. I had to repeat those 5 weeks of training. To say I was despondent would be an absolute understatement. Went back with class 183, completed the training, and became the oldest officer to ever complete the training at that time. It may have been changed now. I did deployments in South America, oddly enough, fighting the war on drugs. A lot of clandestine stuff, a lot of very interesting stuff. Met a fellow who was sent to kill me. He was a nice guy. I convinced him to have a beer instead, and then ran away like a very scared person. I went out on a deployment with the USS Enterprise as a task unit commander, which doesn't mean anything to you, but basically it means I'm running about 30 guys, and we were in support of the southern no-fly zone in Iraq, and the helicopter I was in crashed. Now, an interesting thing in helicopter warfare, the troop commander, me, has ultimate authority over what the helicopter does, as long as the helicopter isn't involved in evading, enemy fire or something like that. My rule had always been the mission's not over until the weapons are away, the explosives are stowed, and everybody's safe. Well, for some reason on that day, I abdicated that rule. The pilot was screwing around and knew he was screwing around, and the result of that was he hit the water going about 200 miles an hour, killed himself and his co-pilot, killed one of my guys, messed up everybody in the back. That 9 souls survived was absolutely amazing, and that was a pretty low spot. The following day, I had fractured my neck, my back, dislocated my hip, had a pulmonary embolism, and went blind in my left eye a couple days later. Didn't know that I had broken my neck and back. And the next day I did the John Wayne thing and told the battle group surgeon to get out of my way. I was going back to work. My XO had to bring a length of cord down to tie my pants together because my hip was so swollen I couldn't buckle them. Went up to brief the admiral, coughing up blood. It was really pleasant. Coming off of that tour, they made me the counterterrorism officer for the Atlantic Fleet. That's everybody east of the Mississippi all the way to through the Persian Gulf. And I immediately saw that we were doing some things immensely wrong. Tried to correct it. Spent a lot of brain cells doing that. And then was at a conference down in San Antonio, and this little girl fell into a fountain and drowned. There was about 1,500 people watching. They didn't know what to do. I ran down, gave her CPR, and she survived. Pretty high spot. Because of the nature of the conference, it was a defense, Secretary of Defense concert that spread all around, and I was some kind of famous or something. So I wrote an article to try and correct some of the things that we were doing wrong in counterterrorism. I left that post, and the USS Cole was bombed through a method that I had described, and 19 sailors were killed. Was that a mistake of mine? No. Was it my fault? No. Do I feel guilty about it? Yeah. I should have been better at what I was doing, and I know that that's not really rational, but it's what I feel. That article was published shortly thereafter and became a must-read article throughout the academies and throughout the fleets. And everybody thought I was a genius, but it was too late. Did some this or that. The Iraq War got ready to spin up. I went over. I planned the amphibious operation into the port of Qasr. That went so well that they gave me command of combat troops in Afghanistan. I know this sounds odd to everybody, but it was the best time of my life. Actually getting out there and sort of making a difference as much as we could within the rules of engagement. And then I was retired against my will, but Manning is what Manning is at 44. And that could have been the end, but I had to do something, so I started this little company. And, we do okay. We make a couple $1 million a year, which means I don't get paid, but all the guys like it. So now we come to the part where does that apply to you? Okay, so what I've just described is a journey, and at all the low points, I I could have stopped and everybody would have went, yeah, dude, you just got shellacked. You know, go home, lick your wounds, stay there. I've described a whole bunch of times when I was at the absolute top of my game. And I could have gone home then, and people would have said, yep, quit while you're ahead, quit at the top of your game, good on you. You know, everybody will remember you for being a hero. But that's not what a journey is about. A journey is about going through your life, about meeting risks, meeting hazards, meeting challenges, and either succeeding or failing. And I will tell you right now that I hope all of you fail. Because that shows that you're out of your comfort zone, that shows you're doing something new, that shows that you're pushing your envelope. And I guarantee you that you future doctors are going to misdiagnose something. If you live in that moment, you're done. You financiers are going to make bad investments. If you live in that moment, you're done. You chemists out there are going to come up with a hypothesis and you're going to be thinking of Nobel Prizes in your head, and you're going to spend a bunch of money and time, and the hypothesis is going to prove false. It's going to happen. Don't live there. Live through the journey. Live through the next achievement. You know, I go to my public school reunions, and I come to the Peddie school reunions when I can make it. And there are three things that are absolutely always true. The first one is I'm always the most handsome guy in the room. Just the way it is. The second is that I am never the most wealthy guy in the room. Not even close. The third is that I have the best stories. And some of them are even true. Live your life as a journey, not going from moment to moment, not living in failure, learn from it, not living in success, learn from it, and push on and have an absolutely fabulous life. Alum.
Let's continue our journey. Go in peace to love and serve. Seniors first.